Hello artists! Okay, today we are going to learn how to make a pinch pot. We are going to be using clay, and since we're using clay and we're going to be using these tools, which are our hands, I've taken all of my rings off of my hands because I don't want my rings to make an imprint onto the clay. I just want my hands and my fingers and the palm of my hand to be used as a tool. Now, I did leave on one piece of jewelry, and I left that on my left hand because I'm hoping that'll help you throughout this video figure out which hand I'm using. So the bracelet's on my left side. So we've got our tools. We're going to use our hands today. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is you will have a plastic bag, has your name on it, and there is clay inside of this. Now, you are using this as part of your project to make a pinch pot, but the rest of it needs to be saved to make coils later. So I'm not going to use all of this clay, I'm just going to use part of it to make my pinch pot. I'm probably going to take this amount of clay, kind of squish it for a second, and take maybe half of it, maybe a third of it, just kind of twist it off at first. Okay, let me put the rest of it back in the bag because I don't want this to start drying out. If it starts drying out, it gets really hard to use, and I want to get as much air out of my bag as I can, and then close it up so that there's not a lot of air inside of there. Okay, now here is the clay that you're going to use to make your pinch pot. So here's what I'm going to show you. I usually take my left elbow and I put it close to my hip because I'm going to kind of lock this hand in place. I am very strong with my right hand. That is my strongest hand. That is the hand I use when I write, when I paint, when I do everything. Since this one's my strong hand, I'm going to use this other one to be kind of like the bowl to hold down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clay and I'm going to put it in that bowl that I've made with my hands or with my palm. And this part is going to stay still. I'm not moving this arm at all. I'm just going to leave it right here. With the other one, I'm going to cup it like I'm making a little bowl with this hand. So what I'm going to try to do is make this into a ball, but it's so big I don't want to roll it. What I'm going to do is what a lot of potters do. When we take our hand like this and we kind of smack it down like that. Has to be rounded though. If I go like this, it just made it super flat. I don't want this flat. So I'm going to take this like a cup and go slam, and then I turn it, and then I slam, and then I turn it, and then I slam, and then I turn it. But I'm slamming with a cup. Cup, turn, cup, turn, cup, turn, cup, turn. Now I'm going to go really slowly for a second. Cup, turn, cup, turn, cup, turn. I have still not moved this hand at all. Cup, turn, cup, turn, cup, turn, cup, turn, cup, turn, cup, turn. And I'm going to keep doing this until it looks like a nice ball. It's getting close. I do not want to see this. Nope, that is not what I told you to do. I told you to lock in your elbow, put your hand out, make it into a cup. Then take your other one and cup it over. This is a better way to make your ball that you're going to need to make your pinch pot. So we've got a nice sphere. Here's our sphere. It's looking really good, actually. So now I'm going to show you the next part. Okay, now I have my sphere. I've got it right here in my hand. I've got it in my left hand. You know that because of my bracelet. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to take my fingers and I'm going to make them like a basket. Okay, I have this right in front of me and I'm going to let the ball or the sphere go right into my basket. I'm going to show you that one more time. Take your fingers, interlace them like a basket. Let your sphere go in the middle. Now I'm going to try to find the center of my sphere. So I'm going to put my thumbs together and I'm going to push them down. So it makes a little indentation. Yep, it looks a little bit like a butt. So then you're going to take one of your thumbs and you're going to push it way far down. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold it in my left hand again And I'm going to push way far down. Not all the way to the bottom though. You don't want to make a hole. See, now it kind of looks like a donut, but it doesn't go all the way through. All right, so now here's the next part that I'm going to do. You know how you can make your fingers go together like this? Okay, so I always think of the duck dance. Yep, we are going to take our fingers together like this. Now it might look a little bit upside down for you, but that's okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to put it inside the middle. And watch, I'm going to turn it sideways for a second so you can see it. I'm going to press my thumb against my fingers. Watch this. Squeeze. And then I turn this a little bit. Squeeze. Turn it a little bit. Squeeze. Now I'm going to show you from the top. Squeeze. Turn it a little bit. 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 Squeeze. I'm pushing against all my fingers, not this, not just two fingers or one finger and one thumb, pressing all of it. Now, so far I'm getting, hey, it's looking pretty good there, right? Okay, so we're starting to get a bowl, but I'm not quite finished yet. I do want to talk about something. This part is called the rim or the lip. We talk about parts of the bowl being very similar to parts of our body. So think of this as like the mouth. You do not want this part to get too thin. If you do, it will probably crack and break. I'm going to turn this for just a second. If you accidentally get that really, really thin like this, if it looks little tiny like that, you can always fix it by taking this and rolling it over, and then it will get a little thicker, okay? So that's one way to fix it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and do the pushing or the pinching again. So I'm gonna put my thumb inside like this, and I'm gonna pinch it again. So pinch, turn it, pinch, turn it, pinch, turn it, pinch. I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna show you from the top now. Pinch, turn it, 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 pinch. I'm back to where I started. Okay, so now my lip is pretty thick and that's fine. I'm gonna go through. My best smoother for me is my thumb. You might have some fingers that might be better, but that's okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go through and I'm gonna smooth this a little bit, because I want it to be nice and smooth and not super thick. Okay, I'm gonna keep smoothing. All right, you're getting the idea here, right? Nice and smooth. I want all of this to be nice and smooth. So I'm gonna go through and smooth some things out. Now you might come to a spot that looks like this where it has maybe what I call like a little dimple. So I'm just gonna take my thumb and I'm gonna smooth it. That's my job, is to go through and smooth things. I like having the finger marks in it. Some artists do not like having the finger marks in it. So that's fine. If you don't like having the finger marks in it, then you can go through and you can smooth them. This is really wet clay, so it's going to smooth a lot. If your clay starts getting too dry, you can always get your hands just a tiny bit wet, and you can use your fingers a tiny bit wet to smooth things out. All right, so I'm getting my pinch pot. I'm going to go through, I'm going to make sure the bottom is not too thick. I don't want it to be really big, because if it is, it will take a super long time to dry. And if it takes a super long time to dry, sometimes it can also get cracks. We just have to be careful. Okay, so I'm going to go through, but I want to leave at least a little bit here. I would say that's probably about 1/3 of an inch maybe, because I'm going to be putting other clay on top of this later, and I want to make sure it still stays. Okay, if I were just making a pinch pot, I would be done, right? Because this looks pretty nice and smooth. I could always go back and smooth some more things out. I can always take like a toothpick or something and carve into it later and make some cool designs. But for right now, it's looking pretty good. All right, this is how you make a pinch pot.